So, now without further ado, let's run you through the starting order for DD2, DD2 Masters qualifying heat number 2, groups B and C. And they are as follows. 19 competitors. On pole position will be the number 424 of Martin Henkel Mortens. Alongside will be Alexander Dahlberg from Sweden. Then Ville Villelainen, Dionysis Liveris round out row 2. Daniel Mahacek and Matthias Lund, row 3. Jan Malacek and Zenderu, row 4. Andreas Foss, Sivat Moiland, row 5. Konstantin Scholl and Rupe Markkanen, row 6. Lasse Andreasen and Max Fleischmann, row 7. Manuel Tenschat and Slavomir Moransky, row 8. With Patrick Weinstock, Marisoli Paulsen and Fredrik Fransson rounding out the 19 strong. So again, this will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap. So thank you very much for bearing with us despite the delay that we've had through the barriers being repaired. And thank you for the Kristianstad Karting Club team for effecting repairs so speedily and in great form as well. So, drivers now coming to a crawl ahead of the rolling start formation that is customary with the Rotax Max Euro Trophy regulations. So, top 3 rows. It's Henkel Mortens from Dahlberg, from Villelainen, Liveris, row 2, Mahacek and Lund, row number 3. And the drivers are now getting into the tram lines as we are about to go racing for the penultimate time for the seniors, the DD2s, as everyone gets underway. And someone definitely got the whole shot, and I think that might be Henkel Mortens once again. We saw that in the first qualification heat, that Henkel Mortens quite literally went past everybody. He was on the front row, but he made it count, as all competitors have now made it through towards the completion of the second sector of the lap here in Kristianstad. So Henkel Mortens continues to lead. In second is Dahlberg with, looks like Villelainen, I think, might have lost out there. I'm not too sure. It looks like Matthias Lund has actually made up a couple of positions, which looks like he has, as Villelainen is getting very feisty behind him, as there's a couple of changes for position a little bit further back, battling between 430, which is Mahacek and Dionysis Liveris, in the 436. That is for 6th position, but Zenderu has also made up incredible ground there. Started 8th, now up into 5th. So the 435 making moves up the order, as is Max Fleischmann from Germany, now up into the top 10, the 404, who did that absolutely brilliant drive in the first final. And Genk started 16th, finished 2nd, and then made it more consistent by doing a 2nd place finish in final number 2 5 weeks ago. So Henkel Mortens is leading ahead of Dahlberg in 2nd. Then it is Villelainen being kept very honest. Oh, well, that was for 3rd, but Matthias Lund just did an absolutely brilliant job just getting past there into 3rd position. But the Finn is right on his back bumper going into turn number 1, with Lund giving no quarter to the Finn at all. Stealing the position off him quite cleanly, in fact, going through the final corner. So other changes, Moransky up into 15th, Tenschat now up into 16th position, as there's a bit of side-to-side battling a little bit further down the order. Looks like Tenschat, Paulsen, Weinstock and Fransson the 4 at the back of the field, but they are battling for position, and there is no quarter given no matter where you are out on track. But it looks like Villelainen is trying to repay the favour to Lund in kind, as they're fast approaching the final corner. A little bit further down the order, I see the likes of Deru also getting very racy as well. So Henkel Mortens leads from Dahlberg. Lund, Villelainen, Liveris has gone up into 5th, but there is one driver that has dropped, I think, just quite significantly. Malacek has just dropped all the way down into 12th position. So Liveris goes up into 5th, Malacek into 6th, Scholl 7th, Drew now 8th ahead of Voss, Fleischmann and Markkanen. Weinstock now gets past Tenschert for position as there is another change there. And that's our 2 leaders. That is Henkel Mortens and Dahlberg's just got the lead off of the number 424 halfway through the lap. But now Henkel Mortens has got to fight back. He's got 6 minutes and 40 plus an additional lap to do so. They're not scoring points now, but obviously Henkel Mortens wants the best possible start to his weekend as the current championship leader. And he's not giving up. The gap between him and Alex Dahlberg was just under 1.5 tenths of a second. So they're coming up into the main infield 90-degree left. And then it's the 90-degree right. So that's turn number 6, I believe. So Alex Dahlberg has now gone into the lead of the race last time around, ahead of Henkel Mortens. And behind them, Lund and Villelainen are still battling tooth and nail over 3rd and 4th. This is allowing Dionysius Liveris in 5th place, as well as Mahacek in 6th place. So Daniel Mahacek started 5th, now 6th, behind Dionysius Liveris. Deru now back up into 7th, Voss into 8th, Scholl, Fleischmann rounds out the top 10. So it looks like Dahlberg has now managed to eke out a little bit more of a gap over Henkel Mortens, but there is still over 5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap in this race. A little bit further down the order there is some battling. It's nearly 3 wide going into turn number 6. That's 5 karts involved there. So we've got Henkel Mortens behind Dahlberg, with Lund being pressurised by Villelainen, Liveris and Mahacek, and it's Deru, and I think it's the likes of Voss, Scholl and Fleischmann and Markkanen. I'm wondering, has Max Fleischmann made up another position? He has. He's gone up into 9th now. Voss has gone past Deru for 7th. So there were a couple of changes in that concertinaed squabble. They're still making a bit of a getaway now, is the pair of Alex Dahlgren and Dahlberg and Martin Henkel Mortens. So the 416 is leading the 424. Last time around it was just over 3/10 of a second. But I think even with the 2nd place finish, I don't think Martin Henkel Mortens will be disappointed. He will want to get that win. But then when you have someone that has quite a lot of track knowledge of this place, you can kind of understand that with the contingent that we've got here from Scandinavia, including the Swedes, the Danes and the Norwegians. Markkanen has now gone up into 10th place and now is behind Fleischmann, about 1.4 seconds adrift. So Max Fleischmann now up into the top 10 and is trying to make some inroads into Deru, who's up ahead in 8th place, but couldn't take anything out of him on the last lap. The 4:35 was slightly faster on the last lap. 3 minutes 12 seconds plus an additional lap to go in this penultimate qualifying heat for the DD2 and the DD2 Masters categories. And looks like this gap between Henkel Mortens and Lund has further extended. It's now gone to just around 2 seconds, as Lund has got Villelainen, Liveris, Mahacek. So that is a 4-way battle for 3rd on the road. But Lund is still keeping them all at bay. But out of the 4 of them, Mahacek was actually quicker than anybody. And Dahlberg and Henkel Mortens have just set the same exact Sector 1 time of a 15.4. Liveris was slower by a tenth for those battling over third place, and that's 4 of them in total. But I think the thing is, if Villalainen gets past Lund, that could be the cork in the bottle in that train that could allow Dionysius Lividis to actually go a little bit further up the order. And last time around, Lund 52.819, Villalainen 52.853, Lividis 52.834. Mahacek was fastest of that quartet yet again, but only by a fraction. Tenshut now gets past Weinstock for position. Meanwhile, at the front of the order, Alexander Dahlberg in the 4.16 is keeping this gap pretty good between himself and Martin Henkel-Mortens. It was 4.5 tenths last time around, and they are now pulling away from the quartet battling. Well, it's now going to be a trio now because they have dropped Mahacek, I think, quite slightly, or is Mahacek just sort of holding back a little bit there? So 75 seconds plus an additional lap. Dahlberg and Henkel-Mortens come across the start-finish line, as do Lund, Villalainen, Lividis and Mahacek. And Villalainen was quickest out of all 4 of them that time around, a 52.696. But fastest lap has gone from Alex Dahlberg, and it's now Martin Henkel-Mortens who retakes that 52.417 from the 4.24. So 45 seconds to go, and the leaders, as it looks like there's another change there, as Villalainen has finally got past, as has Dionysius Lividis on Matthias Lund. Oh no, it's side by side going into the final sector, but the Greeks just lost out to Mahacek. So Villalainen gets past Lund for 3rd. Lividis tried to go past and missed out, and Mahacek went past and took 5th place off the Grecian. So Dahlberg leads by just over 4.5 tenths of a second, and the time is now counting down on the stopwatch. So time has expired, and the next time that Alex Dahlberg crosses the start-finish line with Martin Henkel-Mortens right with him, it's going to be 1 more lap to go. But Dahlberg is keeping himself consistently faster by a fraction ahead of Henkel-Mortens, as Dahlberg actually just retook the fastest lap of the race. Bragging rights again from Henkel-Mortens, with Villalainen now having dropped Lund, Mahacek, Dionysius Lividis, and Forces on the back of that train now. And there we go, another fastest lap of the race for Dahlberg, who goes 52.2. Henkel-Mortens 52.5. So the 4.24 does not have a response, and I think is just having to settle for second best, as looks like there's some more battling up and down the order, as it looks like Force is trying to get past Lividis. But Lividis has gone ultra defensive. Force is throwing it up the inside into turn number 5 and takes the position from the Greek driver on the last lap of the race. Opportunistic at its very best there from Force in the 4.06. But Dionysius Lividis is trying to come back. But Lividis, I think, has just lost out again. Daru has just got past him as well. But round the final corner, the checkered flag is going to be waved for Alex Dahlberg in the 4.16. Martin Henkel-Mortens takes 2nd. Villalainen takes 3rd ahead of Lund. Mahacek. Force takes 6th. Daru 7th. Lividis 8th. Fleischmann 9th. Andreasen rounds out the top 10. Well, that was a nice climactic end to that particular qualifying heat. So let's run you through the finishing order of DD2 and DD2 Masters. Qualifying heat number 2, groups B and C, and it was Alex Dahlberg that took the victory ahead of Martin Henkel-Mortens by just over 1.1 seconds when it was all said and done, with Villalainen finally making his way past Matthias Lund for 3rd position, with the number 408 finishing in 4th. Ahead of Daniel Mahacek, with Zenderu finishing behind Force. Andreas Force in the number 406, with Max Fleischmann and Andreasen, Lasse Andreasen rounding out the top 10 ahead of Malacek, Weinstock, Tenshut, Markkanen, Moiland, Paulsen, Fransson, Scholl and Muransky, who retired 8 laps ago.